guys, it's Rach. Today's video is going to be a Makeup 101 video talking about contouring. Now there are a ton of videos out there on YouTube talking about contouring. A lot of them concentrate on cream contouring, which seems to be the in thing at the moment, contouring and highlighting with either concealers or other darker and lighter shades of foundation. Some are just people doing the contouring and don't really go into what's actually happening. This video is going to be for people who have never really contoured before, who don't know much about contouring, which was me a few years back. Even when I first started watching YouTube videos, there wasn't much about contouring. It's only really come in vogue kind of in the last probably 3 or 4 years. But this is the kind of thing that I would do if you just want to start out in contouring. It kind of was spurred by my sister. I was watching her do a little bit of contouring just with some bronzer, and I noticed that she was making some mistakes, and a lot of that came from just watching people do it really quickly but not actually knowing what they were doing. The first thing I'm going to talk about is 3 brush options that I would suggest for contouring. The first one here is the Sigma Tapered Highlighter F35 brush. The actual tapered face brush, which is the F25, is this. So you can see there's quite a fair difference in size. What about like about this one is that it does come to a kind of point. It is tapered, so it means that most of the product will get blended out. You put the product on this tip and then the rest of the bristles will blend out the product. The next option is one that is used quite a lot. This is the MAC 109 brush. Sigma does have a version of it, as do other brush companies. It's just a small domed face brush. Again, it's used a lot for contouring. I like it, and you've probably seen it used a lot in my videos. And then the third brush that I have here is just a Haku Hodo fluffy blending brush. Again, Sigma has versions. Every makeup company under the sun probably has a fluffy blending brush. You can get a really quite natural but defined look with something like this, and this is what I've been kind of gravitating to a fair bit lately. And the great thing about it is that it's a multi-purpose brush, because then you can use it on your eyes too. So this is the one that I'm going to demonstrate with today. The next thing that I want to talk about is products used for contouring, because when I first started contouring I just used a bronzer, and it didn't matter whether it had shimmer in it or whether it was a really warm color. I just didn't know any better. But what I do like for powder contouring now is to use a really cool toned brown color just to give you a shadow, and that's what I'm going to go for today. So some options for that. The first one that I have here, since it's sitting on top, is MAC's Omega eyeshadow. Again, a multi-purpose product, because obviously you can use it on your eyes and also in your eyebrows if you have lighter brows. This one I know is favoured by Sharon Farrell for contouring, so it's really great if you have particularly light coloured skin, even paler than me. I think this would work great. The next option I have here is the NYX blush in taupe. Again, another one that is highly popular here on YouTube for contouring. It is a blush, but it's really like cool toned brown colour. Another one that as you can see, I've used quite a lot and I tend to favour for contouring. The next option is a new product to me, and one that I'm actually going to demonstrate with today. It is the Makeup Store Micro Shadow in Masai. This one I was introduced to by Chloe Morello. She loves Makeup Store, and I saw her demonstrate using this and I decided to pick it up for myself, and I really enjoy it. So that's the one that I'm going to use today. And then the final one that I wanted to mention is using a bronzer. If you have warm toned skin, if you have darker skin than me, then you can actually use a matte bronzer to contour. I just find that the cooler toned colours suit lighter skins best. But if you do have darker shades, then I would recommend something like the Hoola bronzer. This is from Benefit. It's just one of their box powders. It's a completely matte bronzer, and this would work great for contouring also, and I know a lot of people do use it. So now that we've got our tools and our products, it's time to do some contouring. So I'm going to zoom you guys in a little bit so you can see a little bit better. I'm going to start with the most obvious place to contour, which is of course the cheekbone. Now, one thing that I know a lot of people say to do is suck your cheeks in like a fish and then run the colour along there, and that is a great place to start. There are a couple of things I did want to mention. The whole point of contouring is to give you a defined face, but it's also for a lot of people to raise their cheekbones a little bit. Now, if you have naturally lower cheekbones, mine aren't particularly high, you will find that when you suck in, the line that you get is all the way down here. So you can contour down here, but your cheekbones aren't going to look any higher. So one thing that I would suggest is not to run right in that ditch, but to actually run along the lower or the bottom part of your cheekbone. So if you can feel your cheekbone and it kind of goes like this, it's rounded, you want to run it along the underside of your cheekbone, not quite in that ditch, and that way that shadow will be up a little bit higher and it will automatically make your cheekbones look that little bit higher. First suck in to find that line, and then just go slightly above it. You want to start from your hairline and just work your way down. it's supposed to look really natural, so you're not going for a really harsh line. You just want to put a little bit of product, and then I like to blend upwards, just in circular motions. The other thing too is that you don't want to come down past where your cheekbone starts to go up. So if you bring it down here, it just looks ridiculous. So make sure you do stop where your kind of cheekbone goes up. You can kind of raise the line a little bit to create that kind of circular shape, but definitely stop before you come down too far. That's a mistake that I have made before, so I have no problems highlighting it because it happens. We all make mistakes. Don't worry about it. Makeup takes practice, and I'm certainly no expert. Hopefully this will demonstrate enough so you guys can practice it at home and really see the difference on your own face, because that's the best way that you're going to learn, is to do it on yourself and then actually see the results yourself. So what you do is you just mimic that again on the other side. And one trick, if you do put a little bit too much on, grab your foundation brush, whatever you used. I have the Expert Face Brush from Real Techniques here, which is what I use to apply my foundation, and just blend along the line. You can even go over it, blend it in a little bit, and it will just make it that little bit less harsh, and we'll just blend it in with whatever foundation you have on. The next place that we're probably going to contour is the sides of the face here. Now, some people will like to bring their contour all the way around. If you have a really large forehead, like if your hairline starts further back than say mine does, then if you want to make that look smaller, then you bring the contour all the way around your hairline. If you have a kind of wider face, kind of like I do, and you want to slim the face, then you just bring the contour along this side. That way it will create length in this part of the face, and this will recede just to make this look a little bit more skinny, a little bit more defined. So again, take a small amount on the brush, and you just want to run it along the hairline, kind of where your temple starts and upwards. A lot of people will just do this with a bronzer, and I would too, but I just wanted to demonstrate this today using the contouring product. The next place a lot of people like to contour is their nose to make it look slimmer. So for that, you want to take the product down the nose, starting from where your eyebrow kind of ends, and then running along just the side of the nose slightly, and then cutting it off here near your nostril. One thing that I've seen some people do is they contour and they actually bring the product down the side here, which is going to do the exact opposite. It's not going to slim the nose, it's actually going to make this look larger because you're creating a shadow down here. So that was one thing that my sister did, and she just picked that up because she was watching videos and just saw people sort of bringing it down the nose, not realizing what they were actually doing. So you do want to make sure you bring it all the way along here and cut off that side bit of your nose. Some people actually like to bring it down here too, just to make this look a little bit less round, just to bring it underneath the nose. And then you basically want to join that line up here. If you have a really long nose, then you probably don't want to contour all the way down, because that will actually make your nose look longer and more prominent. So you can keep the contour to just this part of your nose here. There are a lot of advanced ways to contour for specific face shapes. If that's something that you want to do, definitely look around YouTube. I'm sure there are plenty of videos out there, and even blog posts about how to contour for a specific face shape. But this is just the basic 101 kind of contouring for beginners. Small amount of product just down the nose there. On both sides will definitely slim the nose, and then if you want to create even more of a slimming effect, then you can put a highlighter right down the center here. And then again, if you don't want it to be too defined, just take your foundation brush and just run it along the edge of that line there, just so that it's not too harsh. And then the last place that a lot of people like to contour is their jawline. Before I do that, I like to put a tiny little bit of the contour powder just underneath the bottom of my lip here, because that will actually make your lip look more pronounced. So just in that ditch there, because that shadow will mean that your lip looks like it's sticking out more, like it's a little bit more pouty, a little bit more full. And then we move on to the jawline. So for the jawline, you want to not only slim this bit here. If you have a little bit of a double chin, like I do, I have a little bit of extra skin here that I want to recede. I'm going to put a little bit of dark color on that just to help that disappear. But also if you want to make your jawline look a little bit less square, then you want to sort of cut off a little bit of the jawline here too, so that that recedes as well. Anything that you put that contour color on is going to recede. So to do that, you probably want to start just from the very base of your ear, and you just want to bring it down on an angle till you get to this point of your chin, and then you can just run it along here and then connect it up in the same way, like so. So that's what we're going to do there. Again, you can change this to kind of suit your face shape. If you don't need it to, if you don't like need any contouring here, then you can just stop it here to just change the shape of your jaw. Lightly run that along, making sure to really blend it as you go. We're really careful not to get a really definite line, because the last thing you want it to look like is you have like a foundation line or something like that. So really blend it downwards. So that's basically it for contouring. The one other place that sometimes people will put a little bit of contour powder if their eyeshadow hasn't already done this is just along this outer part of the brow bone and running it out here just to really, I guess, define that. And then you would put some highlighter just here to make that protrude a little bit. And that just makes your brow bones look up and lifted. So that's it for this Contouring 101 video. I hope that was helpful for some of you beginners out there. If you have a favourite contouring product, please let me know in the comments below, as well as any other tips that you have for contouring. I would love to hear them because I am still learning. So any advice that you can give me is definitely appreciated. And other than that, I'm gonna go. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye!
Pretend. Yeah. That I've got the goods to save you from what they call the end.